like that
You got to
sometimes.
be serious. Oh,
We got to be serious. Hey, dreamers, we don't always have to be serious. If
of
you
course,
caught
we're
that,
laughing.
yeah. You know what? I'm gonna laugh until I die, and I've said that for so many
Probably,
years.
I will probably too because I'm a goof. I'm
Yeah.
goofy,
All right.
right?
Well, hey, dreamers, we're here to chat. This conversation probably is going to unfold very differently than any of our other um, talks on Tuesdays. Tuesday talks with Jenny. I don't know, call it whatever you want to call
it's,
it.
it's Tuesdays with Jenny. And hi, Catherine. It's Tuesdays
Tuesdays
with
with
Jenny.
Jenny. Okay. Welcome back to Tuesdays with Jenny. This is Kim.
Hi.
We're welcoming Kim. Hi, Catherine. Okay, so her and I were chatting, and we thought we could talk about quiet quitting and engaging. Okay, so I'm going to let you take the lead for a few minutes on that
Sure.
because,
So
yeah.
I was watching a show last night, and it was about exactly like this man. This I think he's a reporter or editor or something, and he was talking about quiet quitting and engaging, and it really got my attention, and it really stuck with me even through my sleep. And
Hi, Carol.
I found it very interesting. So this morning when Jenny and I were talking, blah blah blah, we started talking about this, and then we both started debating about the whole thing, and then it was really good.
Yes.
So the whole idea of engaging and what's happening in the world right now is that um, we're not engaging, and that's a problem. Like since we said a little bit before COVID, but since COVID, everybody works at home, right?
Hi,
Everybody that
Carol.
had the office jobs, now they're working at home. So
Yeah,
now,
and if they're not, well, if they were, they're encouraging them to go back to work now. And
right.
that's a huge transition if you've been home for over 2 years.
Absolutely. Yeah. But people are stuck in their rooms. People are
Yeah.
stuck in their office at home, not engaging with the person, next door, like their office next to you, or people walking by in the office, or they're not even getting to the point of engaging with traffic, if that makes sense.
That's
Like
so
they're
true.
not leaving their home, right? They probably have a dress shirt and tie, or a dress
And
shirt
pajama bottoms.
and then underwear underneath, and that's just gotten weird because now that COVID and everything is starting to hopefully get away from us, and we don't have to stay at home anymore, but people are choosing to because I think they've got into a routine of it, and it's comfort, right? And we all feel comfort in our home. That's our safe space, everybody. So with not engaging, what are we doing to ourselves? Right? Like we're not talking with other people. We're not even seeing. You don't have to talk to me. We're not even seeing anybody because you're sitting at home every day. When we were at work, we were talking with people, our coworkers, our people we ate lunch with, or whatever. And it's just gotten to the point where nobody's engaging anymore. So what's going to happen? Like I worry about the future with the young ones coming up. Like Jenny, you and I both have young kids,
Yeah.
or like 20s, and that's what I'm
Yeah.
talking about. That age group where if they're at home too. I have some kids in my life that work out of the house, and they're not engaging. So they're at home, they're in this room, they're in their computer, and they're working, but they're not seeing anything. They're not seeing anybody. They're not even like probably looking outside. They're taking it all for granted because now we're in our comfort space, and now nobody wants to get out. And you and I have talked about this many, many times about how we don't like to be in
Absolutely.
groups. And that's fine. You don't have to
Yeah,
be in
and
a
you'll
large
see
group.
that with different,
Yeah.
even the dynamics here between Kim and I. Kim likes to
Yeah.
travel and she
Yeah.
likes to know things and do things and go places. I do not because I have different sensitivities than
Yeah.
she does. That's not what we're
Absolutely.
talking about. We're
No.
talking about non-engagement, the quiet quitting of on yourself and of on others and on
Yeah.
the world, basically.
Absolutely.
I think I experienced that with my son when he was younger. Not so
Sorry.
much now as a young adult. Now as a young adult, he's very engaging. He has a lot of friends. He's out and about. COVID hasn't stopped him from being that social person and engaging.
Yeah.
But I can see that happening
Yeah.
on the planet. Hi, Vicky.
Hi,
Yep.
Vicky, Marty, Pam, Carol, Catherine. Yeah, like my I keep on getting a bad message, and I'm trying to push it away. I so somebody in my family works at home, and my son used to work at home as well, for insurance or whatever they used to do,
Hmm.
and it was like he was in a dungeon all day. And
Yeah.
then after that, he wants to play his video game. So then another, couple hours of playing video games. So he's basically not having any interaction. And I worry about that because even if it's just interaction with a neighbor saying hello, or, like I
Right.
said, engaging in traffic, like just being out there in the world and doing something instead of being stuck
Yes.
in the house.
Yeah,
And
you
that,
lose your patience very quickly. You lose your
yeah,
consideration for other people. You lose a bunch of like human traits that
yeah,
we actually
yeah.
require to live on this planet.
So that's
And
why I worry about the young ones coming up, because if we're doing this now, what happens to like our grandkids or our, kids and all that stuff? What happens?
right, because you know what? It's not just being alone and not engaging. Now you're full of electromagnetic frequencies. You've been in front of a computer all day and then in front of a game system all day, and you're
Mm-hmm.
just in this weird energy that actually creates problems in your own vibrational frequencies.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So then you do feel out of balance and you do feel unsteady, and you can't speak to other people. You have no idea
Yeah.
how to even let them near you.
Yeah, absolutely. And like we were talking earlier about, even people dating, like the young kids
Oh, yes.
dating, they're
Swipe,
on swipe. That's it, swipe.
swipe.
They're on their phones and they're just swiping on people. It's like, whatever happened to just going out and meeting somebody? Right? Like, am I acting like an old lady? Because I
Well,
don't
yes
know.
and no, right? Because there is a generation that's how they do meet, and they do meet in person eventually. But COVID created that horrible process of not engaging with people one on one,
Yeah.
right? We had to
Yeah.
stay home. We were like, you know,
Yeah.
it's a
It's
pandemic.
just,
So, but there's
and
no
this is yeah.
reintroduction.
No, and this is all in my own opinion, that I just
Yes.
feel like when people are, doing this phone dating or whatever it is, and then like just go out and meet somebody, right? Like it's fine, like okay, meet that person, but then don't continue just talking on the phone. Actually go out and meet them, engage with them. I find like, and we were talking too about this man last night talking about all this. He was talking about like, the intimacy that people need
Right.
from others. And and if you're building that up, that ends up kind of turning into anger, don't you think?
Absolutely. Well, think when we all have times where we've retreated, we've kind of like pulled back
Absolutely.
a little bit, and that's for certain reasons in your life. But then there's a point where you re-engage with life. So
Yeah.
that stuff doesn't happen. So you don't build up aggression in the body and in the
Right.
mind. And like you're talking about that primal survival
Yeah.
urge that has to happen along this planet
Like
to
young kids have to go out and have fun
yes,
and not
baby.
talk on the computer to each other. Like,
Yes.
instead of a Saturday night sitting at home playing, on the computer, go out, go to a movie, go to a casino, go do something, have fun. I
Yes.
just like, and I don't like being out in public, but I do it because I need it.
Right.
Right? I don't like, I protect myself and I don't go in big groups or anything like that, but I still go out and engage with people. Like, I could meet up with my friends and have a nice dinner out and stuff like that. You need that engagement, but I just worry about the young ones that are
Right.
so stuck into this age, I guess, that they just think everything is on the computer, everything has to be
So
electronic.
our job as adult mothers and other mothers and adults on this planet is to encourage that, to have serious conversations, uncomfortable conversations,
Yeah,
difficult conversations
yeah,
about that re-engaging into the world and not being that quiet quitter,
yeah.
right? So we
Like
don't
you
really
don't
want to
have, yeah.
retreat.
No, you don't have to go out and be in a big group or anything. Just going out for dinner with a friend is engagement.
I really like that you called that quiet quitting or quiet quitter, because people really, because they're on their phones or they're going back and forth, and sometimes there's
Yeah.
reasons for it. I do have to say I've been there, done that. I've had to have my phone for reasons, but
Yes.
there is other, encouraging to use your voice,
Hmm.
to speak with your voice and not your texting words,
Well, that's what I was going to say,
right?
because some, I know you use your voice
I do.
text
I voice
on your
text. I
phone.
don't. And when I speak to my phone through text, I'm speaking directly from my heart.
Yeah.
None of those words are just made up. They're all
Yeah.
coming out sass and all, right? Because
Yeah.
everyone who knows me knows that I'm the most sassiest person they've ever met. Right? But yeah, that comes out in it. And most people who know us, or you, whatever, they will know that. They'll sense that feeling coming through the
Yeah.
text message, even.
Yeah.
But you do sometimes have to reconnect and learn how to communicate, right?
Yes.
Like, don't just retreat completely, still engage, still participate in life.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm not saying it like I've been very honest about my journey, and I have retreated a lot.
Yeah,
But
and that's
I'm not.
different. Retreating
Yeah,
is different than
yeah.
quitting.
Right. And when you level up and you get new downloads, and I just feel like I'm on fire lately with all these downloads I'm getting and all this information I'm getting. I just, it's like as healers, as people out there that want to holistic, want to make things better, how do we do this as a group? Like where do we find the answers to help that what we're leaving behind doesn't just become numb?
Right? And so
Right?
how do we do that?
How
We
do
do
we do that?
this. We do this. We
We
talk
talk.
about it.
We
Right?
talk.
We talk about it, and we maybe inspire someone else to talk about that in their life. And then
Yeah.
they will continue the talks throughout life.
Right.
Teach people how to communicate again. Because really, we maybe have lost that communication skill in
Hmm.
the past 2.5 years, where we didn't
Hmm.
really have to go face to face with someone or sit in someone's personal energy, all of that stuff. We've lost some abilities. And
Exactly.
maybe those abilities don't exist anymore. So then we have to find new ones, new ways of being,
Yeah,
ways of communicating, new ways of trying to understand each other or come to common ground. Hi, Jackie.
exactly. Hi,
Yeah.
Jackie. Hi,
And hi,
Sonia.
Sonia. Almost missed you.
Yeah, I just saw her. Good.
Your name came up so quickly. So this was not a meditation conversation this time.
No, it wasn't. It was something that I had seen on the TV last night,
Yeah.
and it just it just feels sorry, I'm talking fast because Spirit is talking to me. But it's been like a couple weeks where I feel like I'm getting these downloads, and it's all this information about stuff like this.
Thank you.
Right? Like hello.
Constant downloads about all this stuff
Yeah.
continuously. But what do we do with it? Okay, this
Yeah,
is why we talk.
and
We
that's
talk.
why it's just like I when I saw you this morning, I just felt like I had to right, because I had to tell you about what
Get
this
it out.
whole thing. And then when you fall asleep and this is on your mind, then you get a lot more downloads during your sleep. I think myself.
Absolutely. Yes.
But yeah, it's really interesting to see how we're changing. And I just worry about the generations
I do
behind us.
worry about the coming generations, the ones
Yeah,
behind us, right?
yeah,
But I also know that our grandparents taught us certain things, right?
yes, yeah,
So maybe it's just that. Maybe we have to get back to teaching those kids those old school things, right? And then grandkids those things too.
yeah,
Like, take yourself back to silence, take yourself back to the quiet, go
yeah.
outside, go for a walk, connect that way, connect with
Mhm.
nature, connect with the ants, connect with anybody and anything. You go for
Anything.
a walk, maybe you can't go out in public, maybe you can't go to a concert or a restaurant, but you could go for a walk, and
A picnic.
bet you will see somebody else out there walking, and all you have to do is say hi.
Yeah. And in Canada, that's all we do is say hello to
Right? Say
everybody.
hello. How are you? How's the weather? Isn't it a beautiful day? Like, right back to basics.
Yeah.
Hi, Lynn.
Hi, Lynn. No, exactly. And
And we're learning that too.
the what?
We are also learning that. Back
Oh,
to
and
basics.
that's why we're talking about it, because it's a lesson that came up for me. It was something that came up for me that, every day is like, it seems like new lessons, and that's great. But
Mhm.
I just feel like we need to talk more about this,
We do
that
need to talk more about it. And engaging
everybody's
and
forgetting it.
quiet quitting are go hand in hand. Hi, Carol. Like, recently in my life, I've actually had two quitters in my life.
Yeah.
Two people that were so present in my life, and because there's some communication glitches or not as engaging energy at the time, they just quit. They quit on themselves, quit on the energy of the relationship or the friendship or whatever that was, and just quit. Like, just pulled back. And yes, some things have their reasons why they do that, but it was called quiet quitting because there was no space held for anything.
Yeah.
Right?
And
There was decisions made
yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
in gaps of energy,
Hmm.
and there was no engaging. There
Yeah.
was no back and forth of learning to communicate.
Yeah. Like quiet quitting to me is like when you don't give that effort,
Yeah, exactly. No
right?
effort.
Like
Absolutely not.
even and again, they were talking about, everybody's at work, but they just do what they have to do. They do the basics to get through their
Mhm.
day.
Yeah.
Like, so, it just feels like this quiet quitter thing, just like, oh my God. And like you said, friendships and relationships and life in general.
Yes.
I'm sure we've all been there,
Yeah.
right?
And they do take, sometimes they take turns, right? They
Yeah.
take different directions. But there's always reasons for those directions. If there's
Yeah.
engaging conversation, not
Yeah.
just quitting.
Yeah.
Like quit before you're ahead.
Yeah. You
I
stop
don't see that
engaging.
old saying, you just stop engaging.
Yeah.
So you're not even holding space for yourself.
No.
You're quitting basically on yourself too.
Yeah.
And how does that resolve anything? How's that resolving
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
within your mind, mentally, emotionally, and physically?
Yeah.
Right? 'Cause that's what we're doing right now. We're doing the mental, emotional, physical recalibration, adjusting, restructuring. That's what's happening. And that is absolutely new energy that's coming to the planet.
Right.
So, can we not talk about that stuff? If we can talk about an amazing meditation that we've had and or a dream that we've had, why can't we talk about all this other stuff?
Yeah.
Why is that all of a sudden pushed to the side and you just quit on it? You don't
Yeah.
engage in that.
Yeah.
Challenges actually help create things throughout our
Yeah.
life and
Yeah.
uncomfortable conversations.
So I was going to say, like, COVID was I will say, a very depressing time for a lot of people, and a lot of people suffered. I know that they suffered, and I know that some, lost their lives and
Hmm.
with depression and stuff. And it was like, we have to learn from that whole,
Oh, it was a huge
I
gift.
can't say bad words, that whole, I'm going to say it, shit show of COVID, right?
Yes.
And I just feel like, okay, now it's time that we start pulling ourselves out and stop using, I don't want to say using it as an excuse, but using it as an excuse.
Well, you know what? It was a gift in so many ways. It could also be a gift to re-engage, to check in on yourself, how you engage.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
hi, Lynn. That is very sad to hear.
Can you read that? I don't have my glasses.
Lynn says, my cousin also did his own version of quitting. He took his own life yesterday morning. His pain was greater than wanting to live.
Uh,
And that is one way of quitting. You're right. That's his own version. And
I'm sorry, Lynn.
yeah,
That's sad.
it's
I'm
sad.
sorry.
Very sad. I send you lots of love.
Oh,
Light.
lots of love.
Yes. So that's just it. See, there's a version of it. And
Yeah.
when we talk about quiet quitting, it's multi-layered, right? There's so much in that quitting.
Yeah.
So the girls that are listening to us right now or watching us or anyone who wants to, let's engage with you right now.
Yeah. Give us some feedback.
Okay? Let's talk about this if you're willing to. You know that Kim and I are willing to talk about anything, even difficult stuff. Her and I have talked about
Yeah.
difficult things before. We've had constructive criticism between the two of us. We've had encouragement and
Yep.
growth and evolution. We've had all those things, and
Yep.
this conversation was actually quite difficult to have at first.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So we didn't know where it was going to go.
Yeah.
Oh, crap.
We were a little nervous at first, but
we allowed it to evolve, right?
Yeah.
We hold space for that in itself.
Yeah.
And we're not saying quitting is a bad thing. Okay?
No,
Quitting is not a bad thing.
No, we've all done it. It's just not staying in that moment, not staying
in
there.
it. It's working through it all and shifting out of the quit. See, I don't even know if it's shifting out of the quit. See, because I think quitting is quitting. I think you shift out of pauses and you shift out of retreat modes. You retreat out of rest mode, just like the seasons. But quitting, nature never quits.
No.
Right? Even in the winter, it's not quitting.
No.
And in the spring, and there's always cycles of that. So there are cycles within ourselves too.
Yeah.
There's no cycle for quitters. There's no cycle for that.
Yeah, and my whole point of wanting to talk about this today with you was just to get it out there.
Right.
Some of your viewers might, have young, teenagers or 20-year-olds or whatever. Definitely. And maybe they're like, hey, wait a minute. So talking about this stuff we need to talk. We're not talking anymore, and the world is falling into a dumpster because
Absolutely.
everybody is pissed off at everybody, and it's ridiculous because we don't talk anymore.
Okay, here we have some engagement. All
All
right,
right,
Kim.
Pam.
I quit working
20.
20 when after being off for a few months due to COVID, I got called back, was scheduled to the following Monday, and realized I didn't want to do that job or any job again, and sent a resignation letter. As I hit send for the email, a quiet calm came over me, and I haven't looked back. Now, see, that's not quitting.
That's not quitting.
Hey, you put quit in your
That's
state there.
evolving. That's
That's
evolving.
evolving. There's some growth that happened. You reflected and you realized you didn't want to do that job. That's
Yeah.
entirely different. Doesn't mean you're just quitting on life. That you're
No.
just folding yourself up and,
Yeah.
you
It's
know,
like you're leveling up, right? You're like, okay, I'm not
yes.
happy at this, so what am I going to do? That's absolutely not quitting at
Yes,
all.
you had
Right.
some recognition and
Yeah.
growth involved in that. Good for you,
Good
Pam.
for you for following
Good
your
for you.
intuition and taking that chance,
Yes.
because a lot of people don't want to take that chance and don't like change. Me,
You know, Kim does not like change.
I
She has no
can't
patience for it.
stand. I can't. And you know what? It's life. It's life, right?
Yes,
So that
absolutely.
that's a good listening to your intuition. I think that's
Yes,
awesome. Good for you.
absolutely.
Yeah, it takes a lot of guts.
Sure does. Does anyone
Hmm.
else have anything else to share? It'd be great to hear. You know, I think the word quit has a bad connotation to it.
Well, yeah, it's a discordant energy, wouldn't it be?
Huge, yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So
Yes, you're
that,
very welcome, Pam.
well, yeah, that sticks in your gut, and then next thing you know, it's growing into muck, and it's
Yes,
eating away at you and stuff like that. So I think if you're finding my, and I talk about, I'm not telling everybody how, this is my opinion.
yeah.
If
Oh well, we're not here to tell people. We're just having
right,
a conversation.
right,
This is
but I
open
don't, if
conversation.
right, if I only give basic to something in my life, that's not good enough. It's just
Right.
not, right?
So if
Like,
you're giving basic to anything, move along.
yeah,
Right. You want
yeah,
equal exchange of energy. You want 100% in every aspect. You don't want just
yeah,
basic. You don't
yeah.
want to be basic, and you don't want to give out basic.
No, we have to give, we have to live, we have to feel. We have to get back to life. This is so weird, just it's just weird to me
Well, we
that
do know that
nobody.
there is a new way of living now, a new way of being, and
Well, then I'm
especially
just getting old.
especially with all the downloads and uploads and new energy and people learning who they are and learning to deal with all those new vibrations. That can be very challenging.
Yeah,
Um, but hopefully, it doesn't send you into quit mode.
no,
Right? It hopefully helps you evolve and grow and shift through things and retreat
yeah.
when you need to retreat and come back out when you need to come back out. Like,
Right. And
just
don't
let
you don't
yourself
you
move.
think when you're at that point of the quiet quitting, don't you feel like if you were to engage with even one of your friends that you would have that help to get pulled out of that moment? Like I've had that moment with you,
Yes,
and
and
others,
being
that
honest about it.
being very honest.
I think there's underlining energy that says you can't be honest about that.
Yeah.
And for some who have never been at that and then
Yeah.
have experienced it, to reach out,
Yeah.
that's also uncomfortable.
And everybody's so
Right?
scared to freaking talk anymore
Yeah, because you're afraid to
because
offend anybody.
everybody's feelings are hurt. You
Yes,
you you know
everyone's
look at
feelings
them
are
the
hurt.
wrong way. I have a resting what face, and if people
And
don't
she's
know that
old.
about if people don't know that about me, well then they think, oh, she's a
That you're not approachable.
that's
Yes.
just me. That's my face,
Yes. Well,
right?
it's so interesting. About a month ago, I was on a mentorship group, and it was all about success.
Mm-hmm.
Who's in it for your success and who is not in your life? How
Exactly.
do you create room for success? Make room for success. And this is part of that too, a little bit. Okay. So when we quit on friendships or we quit on relationships or we release them, it's because you've done the work and you've realized that there's a release happening, that that person isn't in your road to success. And
Yeah.
it's not that they're not happy for you or they're not wishing you well. It's just they're not on the road to success for you. Your success could be not the same as theirs.
Right. That
So
makes sense.
releasing them is not quitting on them.
No.
It's allowing you to not be the block in their road to success too,
That
right?
makes sense.
Because you might be that for somebody. You might
Yeah.
be their detour or their
Yeah.
stumbling block or their
And
safe
we're
haven,
foolish to think that
right?
we're not, right? Everybody is. Everybody,
Yes,
has that one person, and it's life. That's life,
yes, yes.
right?
You can't always stay with that safe haven
Mm-mm.
person, right? You have to step out of that comfort zone and have to move through things.
Yeah.
And so instead of getting your feelings hurt or hurting other people's feelings, engage.
Engage. Have a true conversation. There's nothing
Have a
ever
real
wrong
conversation.
and just watch your words. It's
Yes.
all about the words. For myself, I think, you say one word and especially with a freaking text message,
Yep.
everybody could take it
Speak it
whatever.
from your heart.
Yeah, but people take it the wrong way too,
Yes.
and I know
However,
it doesn't
if
want to
they
talk.
knew you, they wouldn't be taking it the wrong way. They're taking it from the wrong way because of the position they're in and the
Mm,
energy they're projecting out.
okay.
Okay. So if they're projecting out rejection, they're
Hmm.
going to feel rejected by you.
Right.
If they have inner stuff that they have to work through, they're going to filter every single thing through those things.
Right.
That has nothing to do with you.
Right.
When your words are being kind and gentle and from the heart, that shouldn't be the problem. That shouldn't make them quit,
Yeah.
right? That shouldn't
Yeah.
make them non-engaging,
Absolutely.
right?
Whew. Talk about the trigger that we talked about.
Okay.
How we're
The
the
triggers.
trigger. How we're the trigger.
Yes, we had a conversation many, many, many months ago about triggers.
Mm,
And many of us feel like, oh, I was triggered by that. I was triggered by that smell or by that car or by that person, how he
yeah.
looked at me.
Yeah.
Those are not triggers. You are your trigger. Your memories inside of you are your trigger. Your trauma inside of you are your trigger. You're the trigger.
Yeah.
You've seen the color purple, and that's how you responded. You
Yeah.
smelled turkey, and it puts you into a
Yeah.
mode. It's
Yeah.
not that turkey that triggers you. It's something within yourself.
Within yourself.
And those are the things that you have to clear and cleanse and
Hmm.
release in order for you not to have that trigger.
Yeah.
Because another person is not your trigger. Another thing is
No.
not your trigger.
Yeah. You can't put that on somebody else. That's your
Right.
own
So
stuff.
that's very much projecting.
And then there we go again with the engaging. Then next thing you know, we're not engaging
Or
because
you're
nobody
engaging in
wants
a
to talk
way
about it.
that you're feeling not heard
Yeah.
or hurt
Yeah.
or dismissed or any of those things. None of that is true. And then
Yeah.
you slowly start to quietly quit, right? So we're working our way backwards from all this. When
Hmm.
really, if you do the work for yourself, even if you don't do the work for yourself, know that something or someone is not your trigger.
Yeah.
They're not the reason for anything. You're the
Right.
reason for
You're
everything.
the reason. You're still holding on to that. You have
Yes.
to realize, or you have to work on releasing that, whatever it is that's,
Yes.
triggering you. Like meeting somebody and you're like, oh, that person triggered me.
Yes.
No, let's sit for a moment and say, okay, what was it inside of you that triggered? What was it like,
Exactly. Right. So,
maybe it was their cologne, maybe it was their eyes, maybe it was
and
something. But don't
then
put that on someone else.
maybe you need to retreat, okay,
Yeah,
to deal with that before you
yeah,
come back to engaging. Right? But
absolutely.
always come back to engaging,
Yeah.
right?
It's life, man. It's life.
Marty says, yes, triggers. So true. We are the only ones in control of them. It's not others' problem. Have I ever had to learn this? And what a game changer. Shadow
Mm.
work has helped immensely with this. Shadow work does. And
Good for you,
sometimes,
Marty. Good for you.
good for you, Marty, but sometimes it's not even shadow work. It could be
Mm-mm.
light work. It
Yeah,
could be happiness and joy that helps you learn about that trigger too,
yeah, yeah.
right? So, because joy can be overwhelming,
It absolutely could be.
happiness can be overwhelming. So,
Mm-hmm.
all of that taken into shadow work.
Mm-hmm.
Take your happiness to shadow work. Take your joy to shadow work. Figure out why. Figure out why. And it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be difficult, right?
Because
We talk about the shadow work like
it's really weird that you just said that. So I'm going to say something.
okay.
So the happiness trigger thing. So I'm thinking this is what you're talking about. So when I was a little girl, I used to get so excited for Christmas and Easter and the holidays that I would make myself sick.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
So I think that's what you're talking about, right? It's like that
Yes.
you have so much joy that
So
it
much
affects
joy,
me in
so
such
much
a way.
happiness.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
that's talking about the light. Like the good parts still trigger you as well, right?
Absolutely.
So, okay.
And
Yeah.
that's a light kind of shadow work, right?
Yeah.
Your shadow work doesn't have to all be digging up the past and dredging up this and
Yeah.
dredging up that. It can just be that, realizing that, oh my God, I'm so happy that I actually created myself throwing up,
I
or
would.
put yourself into anxiety because people are coming in. Oh, she's doing it all, ladies. Overwhelming at
Woo!
times, but doing the spiritual side of it so helpful. Gets
It
you in
is
touch
very
with
overwhelming.
yourself, and that allows you to move forward. Good for you, Marty. It's
And
all
in
about
those,
moving forward.
yeah, and in those moments that are overwhelming, you reach out. If you need to, you reach out to people. You reach out
Yes.
to a group. You reach out to anybody that you feel safe with. That you feel like you can be true. Say the words that you need to say without any judgment, because
Yes.
that's what we need, is to be able to talk without judgment,
Yes.
without
Without
being
judgment.
criticized, without saying we're wrong. Everybody has their
Right.
own opinion, and everybody has the right to that opinion. And I just think that we need to remember that when we're talking about certain things.
About talking about everything.
Everything, I mean, yes, obviously, everything.
Like
Yeah.
some people may watch this video and not agree with anything
No,
we have to
and
say.
that's fine.
That does not mean we do not like them, or they're not in our lives, or we quit on them, or we start disengaging on them with them, right?
Jenni and I debate a lot. Jenni and I debate a
Oh,
lot. And
yeah.
I debate a lot with my hubby, and we can
Yes.
go back and forth for a whole day about a topic, but we respect each other's thoughts and ideas.
Yes. And
And
there's always an underlying thing of helping each other move through it.
yeah.
Right? It's like, okay, this is why she thinks that way. This is why I think that way.
Mm-hmm.
What are we learning from this?
Oh, there's my.
There he is,
I knew he
Mr.
would be on
Butler.
for this.
And that keeps everyone engaging. It
Yeah.
keeps them learning to communicate and to comprehend and to use those skills. Tap in on shadow work. How many times have we actually inspired each other's shadow work, or
Yeah.
another person's shadow
Yeah.
work? And then you want to help them work through that. I mean, sometimes
Exactly.
we can and sometimes we can't, but
we try.
We try. Definitely we try. Yes.
And we don't judge. There's no judgment.
Zero judgment.
You can believe in whatever the heck you want. No judgment here. You
And
can
even saying,
yeah.
Even saying quitting. If you want to believe in quitting, that's okay too.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a quiet quitter, and I encourage others not to be, because really the planet is getting angrily quiet.
Yeah.
Right? That angry energy, like you said, the school shootings and all those other things, what you saw in that video last night.
Like they were talking about the numbers, like, how young men being at home, being in front of a computer, playing these video games, not getting out, not engaging, not having a girlfriend or a boyfriend, or not having any of that normal interaction that humans do. The anger builds up in them, and
it has to come out.
And sometimes God, oh my God, it's horrible, but that's what happens. And if you look back on some of these shooters, and I don't know all the numbers, and I'm not going to get into it.
No, is this a whole like documentary thing that you?
It was actually like a political show, and they have people come on like different like
experts.
He's like an editor or something of a newspaper or something like that. And he just, the way he was talking and the way what he was saying, it was just like, wow, you know what? You're right. Nobody is engaging anymore. These young, 20-year-olds are not engaging, like, and again, I'm saying, am I getting old? Am I just being the grandma, doing the whole thing? Like, but I think it's true. I really think, like, we used to, on Saturday night before kids, we used to go out and have fun. We didn't stay at home.
Well, I'll give you an example.
That's his name, Scott
Galloway. Okay.
Thank you, Gerald.
Like, I'll give you an example. We're engaging on Facebook right now, and several of my dreamers and my friends or whatever only ever engage on Facebook. And if you don't engage with them on Facebook, then you don't like them. Then you're not their friend. Then you're quitting on them. Or that's not true. That's not real engagement. Real engagement is this. It's conversing. It's seeing each other in person. It's helping each other work through things. Talking on the phone. Do a video call. Like, not just a little bit of messaging. Because if that's the way you want to communicate, or you need to for some reason, great. I live. Because we are live on Instagram. Not Instagram.
He's
YouTube,
on YouTube.
Twitter, and Facebook right now. Absolutely, shadow work is so important to grow. Well, thank you for joining us, Elif.
Hey, Miss Elif.
Yes. So yeah, this is engaging, and you
This
are
is
engaging with
engaging.
us in this live conversation.
Yeah.
So we love to hear feedback from you. But just posting up something on a wall or putting up a picture and someone liking it or this or that, that is not true engagement. Right? And then you slowly stop liking people's stuff or stop following them. That's quietly quitting, right? And then you're pulling back and you're not retreating. You're
Yeah,
not
you can
nurturing
base it.
yourself for some reason. You're just, that's it. You're just quitting. I can't tolerate that.
I know myself, even if you wake up in the morning and say you want to have a PJ day, it's different from those days where you turn on the tunes and you dance around and you get that energy, right? It's like I'm engaging with myself, when I'm dancing and whatever, but it's a big difference of just being stuck in your house 24/7 and not having anybody to talk to in person.
And not wanting to.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's what happens. It just slowly goes away, right? So
Yes.
it just becomes a memory, like, oh, we used to do that. And you're like, don't call somebody. Like, nobody talks on the phone anymore. They text. Like, what are you doing calling somebody? Right?
My son calls me all the time. He hates it when I text message him. He hates it when I messenger him. He calls. And he is only 23.
Yeah.
Right? So kudos. But I'm just saying, like, learning to engage. Okay. Pam,
Yeah.
sadly, we have become a society that sends text messages on Facebook or Instagram and don't do face-to-face talk. It is very sad.
Yeah.
I'm so worried about how the world will be when my granddaughter is old enough to have a phone and computer and no one talks anymore. That's just it right there, Pam. That's it in a nutshell. Like, we're leaning towards that. And yes, some of us have gotten really comfortable with videos and communicating through text messages, but it's not necessarily real interaction.
Yeah.
Right? You're not in someone's personal energy. You're not being considerate. You're not sharing the floor. You're not sharing experiences. You're not allowing someone's space to be or talk or do. So yeah,
You're not feeling expression.
no,
Right? Do you know what I mean by feeling it? Like, you don't feel like when someone's talking to you face to face, you can feel their happiness or their
absolutely
sadness or whatever. And when you're on a text message, you don't feel that.
not anymore,
No.
unless you really, really know your people, and you know that that's how they talk and that's their lingo because you just seen them this morning anyway, and then they sent this message to you.
Yeah.
Right? Like, unless they're really, really engaging in your life, then you wouldn't know. You just get a message and it's just words.
Yeah.
So then that leads you to assumptions.
Yeah.
That leads you to hurt feelings.
Yeah.
Or misinterpretation.
I have my oldest son lives in Alberta, so I don't get to see him face to face all the time, but he calls me almost every day, or I call him almost every day, and we see each other's face. I still miss the interaction of being in his, like, not, you know what I mean, about being around his space, about being with him. Talking to him is beautiful, and I'm so lucky to have that. But yeah.
Okay, that's right. We miss the facial expressions and tones and voices. You don't get that with messaging only. You do not. And for a long time, that's why we did do a lot of these videos. We wanted to still engage. And so you could see our facial expressions and our tone of voice and what rolls off of our tongue so easily.
Okay.
Gerald says shunning people used to be a punishment. Now people self-isolate and shun the world. Absolutely. So it's being reversed. Right? So instead of retreating or pulling back or doing you for a time being, we're actually just going in and punishing everybody else by shunning them for being people.
For having their own ideas and thoughts.
For having ideas and feelings and opinions. And it wasn't like that before COVID. We really all had a hard time first at COVID because we weren't seeing each other and we missed all that stuff. And then COVID lasted a little longer and a little longer. So then we got so used to it that now we've forgotten how to be.
Yeah. Yep.
So how do we get back to that, Kim? What do you think? Real practical ways of getting back to that.
I think talking. I think talking about it. I think, grandparents with their kids, with their grandkids, or us with 20-year-olds, and having this talk with them.
Oh yeah,
You know,
definitely.
I know that I now want to have this talk with one of my sons, and
Right.
um, I just think talking about it. We have to talk again. It's to me, and I'm getting emotional, but it is. It's all about talking. We don't
Yes.
talk anymore. Yeah.
That's so
I'm
very
sorry.
true. Well, you and I talk a lot, but it doesn't necessarily mean everyone is, right? And yeah, bring up that lightheartedness again. Bring up your
Yeah,
softness. Bring up your soft
yeah.
heart, your kind-heartedness. Not all that back up 6 feet anymore. It's none of that anymore. We're leaving all that behind. We're going into new energy now, a new world. Like
Yeah.
it's
It's
just
just like it feels like we're stuck.
we're stuck, and we don't even invite people back in either.
No, we're like so comfy here,
Too
and
comfortable.
yeah, we just got stuck, I think. And I
Yeah.
just, like I said, I just worry about the young ones.
And
I just
obviously,
can't
there are several
imagine.
people, not just us, that are worried about granddaughters and future
Yeah.
grandchildren. We need more handshakes and hugs, and we need to learn to live again. Absolutely. Also, through social media, text, etc., things can be misconfused, construed, incorrect assumptions can be made, and translation gets lost. Absolutely. Misinterpretation. Taking it from where you're at instead of where the words are coming from,
Yeah.
right? Like someone may be writing, texting something very kind heartedly, and then you read it because you're in a state of mind
Hmm.
and you read it totally different, right?
Yes.
So you're right, misconstrued, and then you make incorrect assumptions. And hi, Bonnie.
Hi,
And
Bonnie.
then you slowly stop engaging, or you engage negatively, and then that energy shifts
The
a lot
anger.
of
And
things.
that's where the anger is coming out. When
Anger,
you're alone
yes,
for so long and have no one to talk to, that anger builds up and then it explodes in the wrong
yes.
ways. Yeah.
Which I have to say that in response to Gerald's more handshakes and hugs, I hug everybody. Even my clients who come in here. I'm hugging everybody,
Yeah.
right? Because you want
Yeah.
to know that they have a safe space within you or with you. Love is how. Yes, we love. We send out
Love.
love. Lots of
Love.
love. And do those compliments that we talked about before, or invite people into your space again. Just do something. Do anything.
Yeah. Engage. Just engage.
Yes.
I'm hugging too. I'm hugging everybody.
Now, I
You know?
know there was a time where none of us wanted to hug, and
Mm-mm.
we get that. That time has passed.
Yeah.
That's no longer here.
Yep.
So if you're going to get a
Absolutely.
cold, you're just going to get a cold.
Everybody's got the sniffles. Kids are back to school.
Well, and yeah, and it's allergy season.
And it's
So
allergy season. So
separately in all of our homes, we're all having allergies, and then we all go to school or to work, and all of a sudden it seems different because now everybody's doing that. They were doing it anyway. They just weren't all in the same room. Now they're back in the same room, spreading germs around.
exactly. The way
And
it's
the kids,
supposed to be.
and
That's why
honestly,
we let our kids eat dirt.
some kids fed their brothers dirt also.
Or bugs.
Or bugs. When I was very young, this is a thing in my family. Everyone talks about it. I would make mud cookies.
Oh,
Right? I'd be outside. My dad had this ladder, wooden ladder, and I would get mud and water, and I would make these cookies and go through the driveway and find these tiny, tiny little stones as chocolate chips and put them on top of these cookies. And I made my brother eat them
he ate the stones too?
because he loves me.
I'm gonna watch your cookies the next time you over.
So, yeah. So yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? This goes in turn too with the kids, right? Because kids have been home for a while, then they've been home for summer, and they're not used to being back to school either.
No.
It's messed with our routine. Like the
Yeah.
first couple of weeks of school, it's a routine. You got to get back into it. And you're up at different times, and you're doing different
Making
things.
lunches again and
Yeah, like
fun stuff. Getting clothes out and
don't quietly quit on that either, right?
no.
Because then we're teaching our kids that, right?
True.
Just pull back. Just pull back. Unless you need a retreat day, a rest day, a pajama day, a mental health day. Those are different kinds of
Yeah, that's
days.
different.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very different. And
Yes.
and so it might be sometimes hard to
Shift.
shift.
And especially because kids are good, okay? They learn that if I say I need a mental health day, mom's gonna let me stay home, right? I was a mom of a young child before. Yeah, definitely,
Could
right?
you imagine us saying that to our parents, like, 30, 40 years ago? Like, Mom, I want a mental health day. It'd be like,
Yeah. Do you need to go to the hospital? You get to school right now.
unless you're bleeding, you're going.
Exactly. So yeah, we need to remember that we need to encourage them, not to necessarily over push them, but help them move
Help,
through with that
guide. Yeah,
quiet quitting and
yeah,
that re-engaging of energy and
yeah.
all of that. We
I
just
know, I know. Like the day that I'm blessed with grandkids, that I will work with, not interfere, but
oh,
hopefully
I'm interfering.
be able to
Straight up.
engage and make sure, if I'm lucky enough to have grandkids and be blessed with them, then I want to make sure that I show them those things. I show them the, jumping in the mud puddles and
Yes.
eating the mud cookies and doing all that kind of thing and playing with your friends and having
I can
friends come
teach them
over
how
and
to
knock
make the
on the door.
cookies. I haven't forgotten.
Remember knocking on someone's door to ask if you could play?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, germs are good and they're good for the immune system. For sure they are.
Yeah, those little
Now,
boogie
not a
boys.
massive amount, but small doses for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Wow.
that's where this conversation can lead to anything. It can go in any direction. So we encourage all of you to start having this conversation in your life.
Yeah.
Engage with people. Talk about that quiet quitting. Talk about disengagement and re-engagement, not hiding out, not shunning the world, because you're not punishing yourself. You're shunning the world, like Gerald
Yeah.
said.
Yeah.
That sucks.
It does. So
If we want to be back in the vibration of love on this planet, we all have to do our part to bring that
yeah.
up.
And it brings up our vibration, obviously,
Yes.
right? Engaging, learning, hearing, listening, feeling, all of that. That's our
And
vibration.
another part, if you have no one to do this with and you want to, we are here for that.
Anytime.
Engage
Message.
with us. Yes.
Yeah.
Message us. Stop into the Dreaming Tree as long as I'm not in a session. Yeah, that's what this. We have comfy chairs here. We have room to talk. We have space here. It's a
Yeah.
safe space.
It is, and no judgment at all.
No judgment.
No.
Where you're at is where you're at.
Right. That's
Okay,
why
so I don't know how that conversation ended up being this long. I really thought it was going to be like 10, 15-minute conversation, check in on our dreamers because we haven't for a little while, and off we went, but it can carry on.
It was a good one.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm. It could go on and on and on and on and on. But
and maybe it will.
Yeah. I hope it does. I personally hope it does. I hope that, other people are talking about this today or tonight or whenever, bringing it up to others, because I really felt it was important. I really did.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're welcome, Pam. Thank you
You're
for
welcome.
joining us. Thank you, Carol.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we are going to end it. We will resume Tuesdays with Jenni, hopefully every week. It may not be every week because sometimes one of us isn't in the energy of it. But we will be back on, and maybe we'll be back on again this week with some cards. Nobody knows.
It's a secret.
It's always a surprise. I never want to do secret because I don't do the secret thing. But surprises is because sometimes we go on at certain times of the day, so other people who haven't got an opportunity to get a card or a message from us can engage with us. Right? So that's kind of fun for us. Okay. So off we go.
Thank you, everybody.
Great evening, dreamers.
Have a great day.
On very soon.